The world of K-pop is no stranger to surprises. From sudden comebacks to unexpected live streams, fans, lovingly called ARMY, have learned to always expect the unexpected when it comes to BTS. But no one could have predicted the storm that was about to unfold when Taehyung, better known as V, finally spoke out about what really happened with Jungkook. It all began with silence. For weeks, speculation had filled Twitter, TikTok, and online forums. ARMY noticed subtle changes: a glance exchanged during a performance, an uncharacteristic distance in behind-the-scenes footage, and a cryptic comment made during a Weverse live. Small moments, when pieced together, sparked endless theories. Some fans believed it was nothing, just the boys being themselves. Others, however, felt something deeper was brewing. Whispers grew louder. Was there tension between Taehyung and Jungkook? Or was something hidden that the world had yet to uncover? Then came the fateful night. During a late-night live stream, Taehyung leaned closer to the camera, his voice low, his tone serious. The playful energy that usually filled his broadcasts was replaced with something weightier. ARMY instantly sensed this wasn't just another casual chat. "Tonight," Taehyung said, his eyes fixed on the screen, "I think it's time I tell you the truth about me and Jungkook." The words sent shockwaves across fandom spaces. Chat rooms exploded, hashtags trended worldwide within minutes, and millions of fans held their breath, waiting for what would come next. This was not just a casual reveal. This was Taehyung, the soulful artist known for his sincerity, choosing to open up about something that had been lingering in shadows for far too long. And with that, the story truly began. Behind the glittering stages and dazzling lights, the life of an idol is not always what it seems. To the world, BTS is a symbol of unity, strength, and unbreakable brotherhood. But even the closest of bonds can be tested by time, pressure, and the weight of expectations. For years, Taehyung and Jungkook had been known as the golden duo. Their playful banter, inside jokes, and effortless synchronization on stage made fans swoon. ARMY often described their bond as magnetic, a connection that seemed too deep to be scripted, too real to be just for the cameras. Yet, beneath the surface, there were moments that never made it into the final cut. During long rehearsals, small disagreements sometimes arose. Jungkook, being the perfectionist, would push himself and everyone around him to the limit. Taehyung, with his free-spirited nature, often preferred to approach things with emotion rather than rigid technique. Their differences, though complementary on stage, sometimes led to friction behind closed doors. Staff members occasionally noticed the tension. A glance that lingered too long. A sigh when one turned away. An argument that ended in silence instead of laughter. Nothing explosive, nothing dramatic, but enough to leave a mark. The most difficult period came during the months of endless touring. Fatigue settled in, and with it came frustration. In one recorded behind-the-scenes clip, Taehyung was seen quietly sitting alone, his eyes distant as the others laughed nearby. ARMY, ever observant, noticed Jungkook looking at him from across the room, but never approaching. That brief moment sparked countless theories online, though no one truly knew the reason. What fans didn't see was the conversation that happened later that night. In the privacy of their hotel room, words were exchanged, words heavy with emotion. Jungkook, exhausted and overwhelmed, had snapped at Taehyung earlier that day during practice. Taehyung, hurt by the sudden outburst, had withdrawn. "I'm not your enemy, Jungkook," Taehyung finally said, his voice low. "I know," Jungkook replied, guilt written across his face. I don't know how to handle everything sometimes." Those words revealed the truth neither had spoken aloud. They were both struggling under the immense pressure of being not just performers, but symbols of hope for millions worldwide. And so, an unspoken distance began to form. To ARMY, it might have looked like nothing more than tired expressions or missed interactions. But to Taehyung and Jungkook, it was a weight they carried silently, unsure how or when to share it with the world. Little did they know, that silence would only make the eventual revelation all the more earth-shattering. Every story of struggle has a moment where things can no longer remain hidden. For Taehyung and Jungkook, that moment came quietly, without cameras, without an audience, but with consequences that would ripple across the fandom once revealed. It happened during one of their rehearsal nights in Seoul. The group was preparing for a high-stakes performance, one that demanded nothing short of perfection. The pressure was immense. Every step, every note, every expression mattered. BTS had always thrived under pressure, but this time, something felt different. Jungkook, as always, pushed himself the hardest. His sweat-soaked shirt clung to his body as he repeated a dance move over and over, long after the others had taken a break. Taehyung, watching from the sidelines, frowned. He admired Jungkook's dedication but also worried about his health. "Jungkook, that's enough for now," Taehyung said gently. Without looking up, Jungkook snapped. "You don't get it, Hyung. I can't stop until it's perfect." The words hung in the air, sharper than intended. Taehyung, hurt, fell silent. For someone like him, who thrived on expressing emotions freely, Jungkook's cold response felt like rejection, not just of his concern, but of the bond they shared. Later that night, when the team gathered for a group meeting, the tension remained. The others sensed it but chose not to interfere. Everyone knew that sometimes brothers needed space to sort things out themselves. But space didn't heal the wound, it deepened it. Over the following weeks, ARMY began noticing subtle changes. During interviews, Taehyung and Jungkook were less playful. On stage, their interactions were more restrained. Even in behind-the-scenes content, the spark that once defined their dynamic seemed dimmer. Speculation grew. Fans posted compilations on YouTube with titles like "Are Taehyung Fighting?" and "What Happened Between V and Jungkook?" Entire Twitter threads analyzed tiny moments, missed eye contact, forced smiles, awkward silences. Some dismissed it as overthinking. Others were convinced something serious had happened. The truth, however, was far more complex. It wasn't a fight. It wasn't betrayal. It was the silent weight of two young men trying to navigate friendship, brotherhood, and the crushing pressure of global fame. Both wanted to protect each other, but both were hurting in silence. Then came the night Taehyung decided he could no longer stay quiet. He had carried the burden long enough. The guilt of letting fans speculate endlessly, the frustration of seeing his bond with Jungkook misunderstood, and the weight of his own emotions. It was too much to hold inside. That decision led to the live stream that would shake the fandom to its core. The live stream began like any other. Taehyung sat in a softly lit room, wearing a simple hoodie, his hair falling loosely over his forehead. At first, he greeted ARMY with his usual warm smile, answering casual questions about his day, his playlist, and what he had eaten for dinner. But those who watched closely noticed something different. His smile didn't quite reach his eyes. About 20 minutes in, the shift happened. Taehyung put down his phone, leaned back in his chair, and exhaled deeply. His gaze turned serious, and the chat, which had been flooded with playful emojis and comments, suddenly slowed as fans sensed the change in atmosphere. "ARMY," he began, his voice calm but steady, "I know you've noticed things. You always notice everything." The chat erupted, thousands of messages per second, ARMY spamming. "We love you, Tae." "What do you mean? Is this about Jungkook?" He let the flood of comments pass before continuing. "For a long time, I stayed quiet," he said, "because I didn't want to worry you. But the truth is, Jungkook and I have been carrying something heavy." He paused, searching for the right words. His eyes softened, vulnerable in a way fans rarely saw. "We didn't fight. We didn't hate each other. It was nothing like that. But sometimes, even when you love someone like family, misunderstandings happen. The pressure we feel, the expectations, it makes small things feel bigger than they are." He recounted the rehearsal incident, the moment Jungkook pushed himself too hard, and Taehyung's concern had been mistaken for criticism. "That night, when he snapped at me, I felt hurt," Taehyung admitted. "And instead of talking it out right away, I stayed quiet. Jungkook stayed quiet too. And that silence grew between us." The honesty of his words hit ARMY like a wave. Fans had spent weeks, even months, piecing together theories, imagining the worst. But here was Taehyung breaking down the truth with sincerity.